Ben Schwartz, welcome to On Film with Kevin McCarthy.
Kevin, I am so excited to be here. As you know, a big supporter of yours and been rooting you on since the first interview we ever did. I think you're amazing.
Do you remember the first interview we ever did?
Was it Sonic 1?
No.
Before that?
Before that.
Do you have a ticket stub of the first movie we ever did?
I don't have a ticket stub, but I have the interview still. You were paired with somebody. It was for a big film.
This is Where I Leave You?
No.
What was it?
Come on. About 10 years
The Walk?
ago. It was The Walk.
Oh, with who was I next to?
James
Badgedale?
Badgedale.
Oh, yeah, man. That's amazing. That's
That
the
was-
first time we did anything?
First time we ever
Could you tell
spoke.
that we were going to be friends in that one?
I
don't remember
honestly
that.
felt a vibe on that one because you and I were like vibing about filmmaking, and also I was just nerding out because it was Zemeckis, and I was like,
Yes.
and it was a big deal, and you and I had vibed there. I think we really kind of became like more friendly on the Sonic films
Because it was probably one-on-ones. And so then it was like you got to really do what you do, which is like you did real research, had real questions.
Yeah.
And I think what people like myself, and you said Josh Brolin.
Josh Brolin.
Act like I met him before. Josh
First
Josh
guest.
Brolin was the first one. He's a hero. But it's like you see how much you care and how much you love movies. And people like us, we love movies, and you know what I mean? So like, I just feel a connection, just root for you and want to like, yeah, it was great.
And you've always been this way because like you've been on my past podcasts before. I was on
with
Real
your two
Blend,
friends, with Jake, yeah.
Jake and Sean,
Yep.
and I think we did a lot
Best
of those.
teeth in Chicago.
Yes.
Jake, whitest teeth in Chicago.
Jake, if you're watching,
Jake, whitest teeth in Chicago. Jake is coming to my show in Chicago.
is he
I'll
really?
see him. Of course he is.
And so let's get that out of the way first. You are on tour right now.
I'm on tour, but I only do like one weekend a month. So
Okay.
instead of doing all my tours in one thing, it's one weekend a month. And I bring 3 of my friends out from LA, and I have 31 shows this year, which is by far the most I've ever done.
Wow.
I have 9 more. As of right now, I have 9 more.
As of the time of this recording. And so obviously like and in the middle of all that, you're still auditioning, you're still writing, you're still
This
like,
is the thing,
yeah.
which what I've learned from this year is that next year I'm not going to do 31 shows. It's too many. For me, at least, it's too many. Because I'll leave on a Friday, I'll do a weekend of shows, and then when I get back on Monday, I immediately have work. So I never, when I tour, I don't have a day off for, it'll be like Monday through Friday. I leave on a Friday, I come right back and I work the second I get there. And then obviously me and having a personal life and family stuff like that. So I like do that also. So it's 31 is just, it was a lot. It was just continuously, I'm like at the, when I fly, I've been on 2 airlines. I'm like, I'm maxed out at, you know what I mean?
Right.
I'm like, oh, I got to take a breather. Yeah.
Do you start seeing the same people on the flights?
I'll sometimes see the same flight attendants and I love it.
Do you know them by name now? Like will you
Some of them, not all of
Yeah.
them, but some of them. I use 2 airlines mostly, so
Yeah.
like I'll see if I'm on a New York flight. Sometimes you get the same people. So that
Yeah.
hotels, because we tour and I do improv, so I'm never doing the same show twice. So I could play the same city 2 times a year or once a year,
Yeah.
whenever I want. Unlike stand-up, where most of the time you're building your material, so like it would be a similar show if they came back.
Yeah.
With improv, everything's totally different. So if I go back to Chicago or I go back to New York, I know all the people at the hotels because it's myself and I get all my friends that are coming with me hotel rooms. So I become very close with all those guys.
I've been lucky to see you live a couple times.
You came to the Anthem, right?
We did the Anthem, and like these shows are.
We hung out afterwards. I went in the crowd and got to see you. And all that
Yeah,
stuff.
like
It was
you
great.
came out afterwards. Ben you've always been supportive like that, but those shows really are remarkable to watch because they are such a moment in time. And everybody is locked in. And I think one thing I find interesting, and you and I have talked a lot about the improv before.
Yeah, you seemed really interested. You seemed to care.
I genuinely want to break it down because I think it's a genuine art form. It's such a talent that, and also I would imagine in your real life, does that affect the way you have conversations?
Yes, I love listening.
Yeah.
I don't like in improv. A lot of it is listening and
Yeah.
responding, or you saying yes to an idea and keep going. To me, I can listen to people all day. I don't need to be the center of things in real life. I can listen. I love learning. I love learning about people. I know about your life. I know about your personal life before and now. I rather listen and learn and like try to have real conversations with people. So Improv does that, and also improv urges me to say yes to things. You know what I mean? Instead of shutting things down, I try to say yes to things when I can.
But for people who have never been to one of your shows, like the show is built within that evening. Like there are stories told from the audience, and essentially you build a show on stage. But going to the listening part, I find that interesting because I've always wanted to know what's going through your mind while another person in your scene is acting, because you're listening to what they're saying, but you also have to be thinking about what your response is going to be and things like that. Or is it more like someone's playing drums where it's just auto, it's just happening?
It's kind of jazzy in the sense of like, you know, if you hear a beat, you go with it. It's very musical also, but I think if someone's talking, the biggest thing I'm trying to do is respond like truthfully, respond truthfully. But you're right. If there's like a different scene, I can call back something from a different scene. My brain is kind of always in the back, like do. So it's like always moving here to try to find connections to make it not just a group of scenes, but to make it a show that if we do it right, by the end, all the scenes have somehow come together for this one moment of blank. But so I'm always kind of thinking while I'm listening. You're right. So I'm kind of always doing two at the same time. But the biggest thing is just being present and listening, which I think is one of the biggest things in just acting in general.
Probably helps you in real life, like I was saying earlier. Like I have a hard time staying present. I mean, like
I feel like you're incredible at it.
It's so funny because I've been open about this before. I've struggled with mental health and depression and anxiety all my life, and ADHD I also have as well. And I do find myself trying hard to remain as present as possible.
Are you nervous then about an hour-long format as opposed to 5 when you like know you can kind of, you're like, oh, I just gotta. That's the question I had for you also. Is the method in which you do things going to be different now? Because whenever we were doing interviews, you and I have done probably, I don't know, 6 or 7 now. But it's like you have to do so much in such a short little amount of time. Yeah. Can I ask you questions about what you use? And you could keep this or not if you want.
No, keep it in.
Do you feel like, this is what I wonder sometimes, because my goal when I'm doing these junkets, the most I feel it is with Sonic, because those are when I really do like days and days of it. But
and for people listening, if you don't know what a press junket is, basically actors like Ben are in a room all day long. Reporters are cycling in and out of the room.
And truly all day long. 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. We had an hour for lunch.
Right.
And every 5 minutes, a new person comes in.
Right.
Or before, when it was like COVID times, it'd be a new Zoom.
Right.
So it's like it's never stopped. And the person before you doesn't know what the person that's just in there doesn't know what the person before you says. And oftentimes, I think the easiest thing is just asking the easiest question.
Sure.
So we will have to answer the same question over and over and over again.
And you got to make it seem like you're saying the answer for the first time, which is an art form in itself.
Yes. So when we meet you, or we meet Ali Plum, or Josh Horowitz, or Tom from Canada, there's all these people that like. Jake is great too. It's like if you find someone that puts in the effort and time to give you unique questions that you purposefully, I think, this is what I do in comedy. I try not to make the joke you see coming. I try to find a way to go there with it.
Yeah.
So I think for you must be like, all right, well, everybody's going to ask him blank, so I'm going to ask him this. Is that something that you think about or no?
No, it's an interesting question, because I feel like, because I do try to ask things, but it's not purposeful that they're different than anything else that's out there. It's just coming from a genuine place of curiosity.
Oh, interesting.
So like when I watch a film and I see a shot, or I see a movement that you've done as an actor, or the way you've expressed yourself.
Your brain just immediately goes to, ooh, that's interesting. I want to know about that.
Right. Like the other day, I was watching The Rock's new movie, The Smashing Machine.
Oh, I can't wait. How is it?
It's fantastic.
Yes.
But there was these little moments, because it's funny. I'm sitting down with him on Friday for a 5-minute interview, and it's him, Emily Blunt, and Benny Safdie all together for 5 minutes.
So you have 1 minute. It becomes
impossible.
Basically.
But I already, in my head, as I was watching the film, I already noticed these little interesting tics that Dwayne was doing as the character that he's playing, Mark Kerr. And so my brain is already thinking to myself the physicality of it, how the physicality of the fighting informs the person you are out of the ring. And it's so I don't sit down and go, all right, what's going to be asked and how can I divert, or how can I go around that? It's more of like, I want to ask something that I genuinely want to know the answer to. And over the years, I've been lucky enough to sit across from many talented artists like yourself, and I love the reaction I can get from somebody, because
it's the best part. Anytime I see one of your videos online, it's like when someone's like, whoa, that's a great question, or give him 5 more minutes or 2 more minutes. It's always my favorite thing. If you don't like a movie, how would you express that in, like, how do you treat the interview different? Is it then about the actor and not the performance?
Yeah.
What do you do if you don't like a movie, and how often, what percentage of the time, because you have to watch everything.
Yeah.
what percentage of movies you watch are you like, woof?
I mean, there's a good, so I am somebody who likes to find the good in everything.
Yeah.
But obviously there are bad films that I watch and have to cover. My job is an interviewer, and then I started off as a film critic. So the two sides.
Oh shit! I didn't know that.
Right. So
in DC or where?
Yeah, my first job was reviewing movies before I ever got into interviews, and so I always looked at the job I did in two separate lanes. There's the reviewer, and then there's the interviewer. If I don't like a film, I can still talk about the craft
it's a human
of the
being.
movie.
Yeah, you're talking to a human being, not the film.
But ethically speaking, my review will never be altered or changed, even if I'm sitting down with the biggest star in the world.
Well, you must have to do your review before you talk to the person, then, right?
Or no, I mean, even after I talk to the person, if I don't love the film, I'm still going to go home, air the interview, and then give my review at some point.
Have you ever put a review down and then interviewed someone, and that person made you think of the movie in a totally different way and then altered that, though?
No.
Okay. What was the highest rated review you ever gave as a reviewer, and what was the lowest rated review you ever gave as a reviewer?
I'm trying to think.
Was it 1 through 5 stars?
1 through 5. I mean, I've given a lot of 5s.
Okay.
I think when I first started off in my career, like when I was just getting going, I would joke around and give movies like, if I didn't like it, like a -3 or a -5. But generally speaking, 0 to 5. But I actually don't review movies anymore.
Right. But when you were doing that, what was your biggest 5 and what was your biggest 0? What's a movie like, this is the worst movie I've seen back then, and this is the best movie I've seen?
Okay, I remember The Dark Knight opened the same weekend as Mamma Mia.
Okay.
And I didn't love Mamma Mia, but I loved The Dark Knight. I don't think I gave Mamma Mia a 0. But
Dark Knight got 5.
5 out of 5.
Yeah.
But I remember
and also you're a Nolan nerd.
Huge. But I remember the juxtaposition between those two films and talking about them.
Got it.
And again, no slate towards Mamma Mia. I know people love that film.
Yeah.
But as a film nerd, like Dark Knight, like to talk about the IMAX filming and like the score, I was just in nerd heaven.
And then there are people, especially musical theater people, who like Mamma Mia was 5, and Dark Knight to them was like, I don't understand why.
Exactly.
Ben and Kevin love this movie so much.
But I'm also somebody who, and even, I don't want to misquote or mistake Nolan out of context, but Nolan, who's one of my favorite filmmakers of all time, big fan of the movies that I also love that aren't generally critic movies. Fast and Furious. He loves Talladega Nights. He loves
I
loves
heard that he
MacGruber.
loves him. I did one audition for Christopher Nolan in person, and it was the coolest. It was the coolest thing. But right before, it was for Oppenheimer, and right before I went in, you had to test for COVID. It was during that time.
Yeah.
So I went to Universal a lot. I had done one audition before. Now I got to do it for him. And I went to the John Papsidera, incredible casting director.
Incredible.
An awesome dude.
I would geek out to meet him.
He's an awesome dude.
I know that name.
You should interview him. He's awesome.
I would love to. Honestly,
there's some great casting directors that could.
Yeah.
Okay, so.
Come on, John Papsidera.
You swab. I remember I was going to, I was supposed to go to England the next day. So we were fitting this in right before. And they swab you, and I was positive. And I was like, what? I don't think I had COVID yet. And I was like, what are you, there's no way. They go, yeah, you can't come, you can't leave your car. And I go,
he doesn't do Zoom.
I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm not sure.
Probably.
My first audition was definitely sent to him, and then I don't know. So I remember I had to go to 3 other places to get tested. I drove my car to 3 other places, and they were all negative. And then I had to go home and wait for Universal to give me the okay to go there. And the process took like 4 hours or something. It was so. I was so anxious to do it for him because I think he's so incredible.
Wow.
And I was like, oh man, I'd love to be directed by him, whatever. And then finally, at the last second, he had just scouted and he was coming back for like 1 second. It was nighttime now. And they said, okay, if you go there right now, I like zoomed there and did the audition at like 6 p.m. It was so the process of doing it, but he was amazing.
I'm somebody who's a gigantic Nolan fan. I don't understand how auditioning, how you emotionally handle rejection, because I know that's part of acting.
You get told no
all the time. I mean, La La Land was a great example of
the best, like the actors that book the most have still been told no 95% of the time.
But do you, when you leave, so when you're in the audition with Nolan, like how
yes,
how far?
That's a very unique one.
How far away is
he's like a hero to me.
Like where is he and where are you?
He's right opposite the table. Him and Paps, or I think Papsidera was over there. He was over there, and I think I did try to do a bit with him, and he was great. He was great. He because it was so late also.
Yeah.
I think he was just being nice to me. There's one other audition that was crazy. Just because you said Nolan, I'm thinking so J.J. Abrams, who I'm now very close with, this is one of the better audition stories.
You were in Force Awakens.
I was in Force Awakens.
Yeah,
and I punched up some stuff for 9.
You're 2 parts in Force Awakens, technically
Oh
speaking.
I guess
you play a
I
stormtrooper.
did, and then I helped with the voice of BB-8
You and
before
Bill
they found
Hader.
until JJ found an iPad. But for that audition for, it was called Undercovers. It was JJ's next show after Fringe. It was him and Josh Reams created it, and so April Webster, another great casting director, was casting it, and I did 2 auditions or 3 auditions, and then it was up to I get to do it for JJ. And I was a big JJ fan before. I'm very close with him now. He's like my brother now. But I was a big JJ fan then. I thought he was just awesome. And I do the audition, and it was like to play like the cue of the show.
Yeah.
And I do the audition, and I do it again, and I know I didn't get him. I could just tell I didn't. I was fine.
You're not friends at this point.
No, I never met him before.
Okay.
So I was just fine. I knew I was just fine. I didn't do anything special. And then so I could tell, and then April Webster's like, anything else? And JJ's like, no, thank you so much. I go, great. And then April says, oh my goodness, we didn't get his audio because his audio got linked. They were auditioning for Fringe upstairs. His audio got linked upstairs. JJ, is it okay if we do it one more time? And JJ, just because he's a good dude, because I'm sure he wanted to say, no, let's keep moving.
Yeah.
And he's like, okay, yeah, let's do it one more time. And this one, I forget what he said. He gave me a note. And I was like, okay. And then I felt like I had an extra life. I thought I didn't get it. So then I felt like, okay, I got another chance now. And I just went bananas with it. And I like put so much more energy into it, and like felt looser, and like and I could see JJ start like really responding to the way I was doing it. And then afterwards, like, okay, wait, stop. Okay, let's do it again. And like then then I got him, and then he's like, then I could tell that I was, I think I might be in the running now. Or at least I'm way more. And if that audio didn't mess up, I never would have been able to do another take, and I definitely wouldn't have been in consideration.
Wow.
Yeah. That was a crazy story.
So just real quick on the Nolan story, like
Yes.
when you're in, how long are you in that room with him, and then do you know before you leave?
It's crazy we're
you're not
talking about this because that's the 1 second I ever met him. So I have no like relationship with him outside of me wanting,
But
me
that's
thinking
a crazy story. It's
Yeah.
so cool that you got to.
I also remember waiting in the car and testing positive and seeing people behind me go into the audition dressed in the decade that was going to
Yeah.
audition, and I was like, oh my God, should I have done that? Like, you start to I had already by that time done, I think I've done 20 movies or something like that. I've done like a whole bunch of TV, and I'm like, in that moment, I'm like, oh my God, do I not know what I'm doing? Do I like, what am I like? You start, because the pressure's so much higher. All of a sudden, you're like, I just like, oh, I really want this.
Yeah.
It would be so fun. And because you really want it, you don't give the most natural version of your performance because you want it so bad. I feel like if you have it really down, whatever. But it was great. I don't remember how long I was in there, but he was very nice to me when he didn't have to be. He had a long day. I was supposed to be there 6 hours before, but because of all these positives, but he was made aware of that, so he probably felt terrible for me too. And he's like, let this kid, we'll let him do it.
Did you know you didn't get it before you walked out?
No, I knew that I didn't. I wish that I had done. I wish I had done a little better. Also, I think David was right for the role.
He's great in the movie.
So it's like in my head, I was like, oh yeah, that's what it is. I feel like that's that guy makes a little bit more sense than me, I think, for that particular role. I think.
Back to JJ.
But I always was curious. Was like, I wonder if he thought that was good or not. Did he think I was terrible or good or
They record
not right
you,
for
right?
it? Yeah, of course. But it's
I would
like
love to see that.
there's 1 or 2 that I've done that like I auditioned for like one other real big one that I knew I didn't get it during it, but it was so big. I asked the director for another shot, and he gave me another shot, and I was just like, oh, I'm just not this guy. I was like, oh, I was so bummed.
But can you then, you work in this business? Can you then reach out to that filmmaker and say, I'd like to try it again for a different?
No, I don't think I would. I've been on the other side when I'm producing a show or something. I'm watching the auditions. Sometimes someone's amazing, but they're just not. They're not the perfect person for that role.
Right.
But they're amazing. I was like, so what I do is I write all those people's names down and I put them to the side, and then if my show goes, I'll put them in somewhere. You know what I mean? Or I'll find a way to put them in somewhere because they're only going to make my stuff better. Yeah. But even just meeting Nolan, I basically just I got to meet Christopher Nolan.
Yeah.
And Papsadero is the best, and
Yeah.
so yeah.
Hey, you never know; it might lead to something later down the line.
I can't imagine a universe where he remembers that. He sees 1,000 people for roles.
Never know.
There's no way he remembers.
Dude,
that.
his mind.
Papsadero will remember because I had so many COVID positive tests.
I bet he remembers you. I think that guy's mind is.
I would doubt. I really want him to come to a show, improv show.
He would
I heard
love
he
it.
loves comedy. Yeah. So, but I heard he doesn't have like a phone or something. Like that. I
Yeah.
don't know. I got to figure out a way to invite him to a show.
Back to J.J. Abrams for a second. So
Yeah.
you obviously went on to become friends with him, and then
I got that role.
you got the role, and like so, but.
Which was a big deal. That was a huge deal to get that
Was that
role.
a turning point for you?
I think Parks was the biggest turning point, but that was a big one because I'd done a pilot or two beforehand, but this show went, and it was expensive.
And Abrams was like the king of TV.
He directed the pilot, which like he directed Lost before that, so it's like he was like, and he was so good, and it was really expensive. It was a big deal. It was also one of the very few shows, if not, I don't know how many other, that had 2 black leads. And so it's like that was a huge deal back then, and I was so proud to be on a show that had that representation. I was really, really proud of that I was a part, because I was like Jewish, and the 2 leads were not white, and it was a big show for NBC, and and JJ was behind it, and I was really proud to be part of that.
Yeah.
And then we got shut down. We did 13 episodes, and they shut us down. I think they told us we weren't getting picked up. And then they stopped us at a certain episode, and then they didn't air the last 1 or 2, I think, in the States or something like that.
Oh, wow.
But it was a crash course in learning how to memorize quickly, learning how to perform. I had 22-hour days sometimes. It was crazy.
Wow. But all that helps with where you are now. Every single thing you do.
Even the failures help. I'm
Right.
sure even me not getting Nolan, just like the experience of feeling those, like being in front of one of those elite directors, and I've been lucky. I've been in front of a lot of them, but it's like, that one I was like, oh, okay, I feel like, if I had another shot at that, I just don't think I was the right guy for it. But you still feel, what I do always is I'll leave an audition, and to myself, I'll do the lines and be like, oh, I should have done it like that. Like you always.
Yeah. Are you really hard on yourself?
I think so. Yeah. In particular things. Yeah. You know what? Even like with improv, I think we never have a bad show, but if it's not like, I want it to be awesome, I want people to leave to be like, that was one of the coolest comedy shows I've ever seen. I'll be hard on myself, but now that I'm older, it is the pain that I give myself is way less,
because you're giving your energy to other things.
It's
in your
just
life.
I can't live in.
Yeah.
And nobody else in that audience thought it was a bad show, or
right.
Do you know what I mean? I'm driving myself crazy. I've just learned when I was younger, after a bad show, it would be days of me being like, I can't believe I did that move on stage.
That's me with interviews. I'll have an interview that
Really?
doesn't go well.
What's your version of me afterwards being in the elevator being like, oh, I could have done that?
Same thing. I go back through my mind. I'm like, I said that wrong. I should have put question 3 first instead of 1, and then I would have had more time. But then I'll leave an interview thinking it's absolutely awful. Get home, edit it a week later, and it'll be a great interview.
Editing is amazing.
Editing is amazing, but also, but the interview wasn't what I remembered it was.
No, because we're in our own head. We're spiraling. Like especially the way that you talk about the way that your brain works.
Yeah.
I remember my therapist once said that it's like the way that I improvise and I'm able to make stuff up on the spot and really like create, he goes, is also bad when you have a negative thought in your head and your brain just keeps going with it and creating with it. So I was like, oh man, you're right. Like when I'm on stage, I'm in the moment. And then when I'm like, I can harp on something in my head, whether it's me being mean to myself or a situation that I wish played better or something like that. It's very interesting.
What I'll get to this question next.
Have you asked one question here?
No, actually, I honestly, I'm actually enjoying this conversation.
Great.
I love this conversation. But back to JJ for a second, because I did mention the BB-8 thing, because that to me is interesting in itself. Because how does that even come about? Because I know you play a stormtrooper in Force Awakens.
I do.
But the BB-8 sounds that. So you and Bill Hader.
Yeah. This is how the whole thing happened. It was JJ I'd done undercovers. I'd helped out with 1 or 2 other things with JJ.
Yeah.
And then he was in England and he was filming, and he called me. I remember I was in Alison Jones' casting director's office writing. She was very kind and let me use one of her rooms to write when I was writing scripts. I still write scripts all the time, but I got a call and he's like, hey, do you think you'd be interested in doing this? Like, I'm sure he knew, of course, I was going to say yes. He goes, there's a droid in the movie I'm doing right now. And I go, you keep going. He goes, it's like a round, like a ball droid. And I remember he showed me the picture later where it was just 2 kind of circles. And I was like, yeah. He goes, and I want him to speak in beeps and boops and all that. But I want the audience to really understand when he's happy. I want the audience to understand when he's sad. I want you to really feel for him and really understand what he's doing. So I want someone to do lines, and then we're going to turn those lines into beeps and boops.
Okay.
And I was like, he goes, would you come to London and help out? And I was like, what are you crazy? Yes. And I remember being so excited. And so because he wanted me to play with it and improvise and find it, and he really
Right.
thought that I'd be, and I had a lot of voiceover experience.
Yeah.
So I was like, great. I get on a plane and I got to go to set and I got to see Harrison Ford as Han Solo, and I did a bit with Harrison Ford, and it was crazy. And then I got to see Carrie Fisher was there, and it was just crazy. And then I got a tour of the Millennium Falcon, and I stole a little piece of the Millennium Falcon. It was an absolute dream come true, a true dream come true. And then I went. I believe the editor's name was Mark. That was over there, and there's a guy named Robbie Stambler who is in sound, and we would try. We first started with me saying lines. JJ wrote lines.
Actual words.
Yes, there are scenes with me as BB-8 saying lines.
Wow.
And then the editors edited the scenes to my lines.
Okay.
So I would like write something, and then sometimes one of the editors had said it was kind of helpful to have Ben do that because then we kind of know what he's saying and could really cut back and forth and da-da-da.
So you can say a line like, I like you.
I think it, and by the way, I think it started like this, that Harrison Ford got injured. JJ had to come home because they had to shut down set. You remember he like...
Yeah, his leg got
and JJ
caught.
literally like held open that door and hurt his back to like... It was crazy. And so he's like, will you come there? And so that's when I don't remember what came first, but JJ wrote some lines for me. I would do his lines and improvise off them.
Huh.
And we'd find it. And then we gave those to Lucas. I forget the order. It might have been London first. And then when they got it back, it very much sounded like a human being turned into a robot, he said. So he's like, let's try other things. So then that's when I was with Robbie, and I would try like a synthesizer. And then I tried this huge board they had, and I would talk into a microphone. It would distort my voice. And then I would just try to say beeps and boops, like stuff like that.
Oh, you actually would physically do...
It went from words to me trying it and then using a synthesizer and using different things. And it was so fun. And we were having a good time. We were getting closer and closer. This was also the time when we were editing that it was one of the first time that you had stems of old scenes in episode 4, 5, and 6, but the audio, you can remove pieces of the audio. And so I then would, as a bit, take episode A New Hope and start recording lines as R2-D2 and like pretend I was R2-D2 and send that to JJ as a bit when he thought, just like for fun.
And you were doing the beat like beeps and...
No,
boops,
I talk
or
like I talk like me. I would just talk like, doing stuff that would never make sense, just like for fun.
What's an example of something R2-D2?
I don't even know. It didn't sound like an R2-D2. It was like me being like, "Come on, guys, what are we doing here?" You know what I mean? Like,
over the R2-D2
as a beat. Yeah. So instead of the beeps, because for the first time you could remove them and have all the audio in the movie, but have me, then I would be like, "Come on, Leia," stuff like that. I hope that doesn't exist. I don't even know where that is. But the BB-8 stuff I'd be interested in. So anyway, we did that, and we're getting closer, but we weren't quite there. And then I got cast in a movie called The Intervention.
Yeah.
And I had to go to Atlanta I had to go to South Carolina, or I forget where I went, to film that. And so I said, I can't be here to do this anymore. And so then he hired Bill Hader to take over after I was done. Bill Hader tried, and I think they got closer, but they didn't get it. And then JJ literally found an app, I think, on his iPad, and I think that's what BB-8 is.
So the sounds in the movie are not yours?
I don't know how much is me. I assume it's not very much.
I think you're credited as a consultant, like a
Yeah,
voice
when I
consultant.
started, that's how we had to figure out a contract. And all I kept saying to Bad Robot is, I don't care. I just want to be in the crawl.
Yeah.
Just put me in the crawl so when I'm older, I watch this movie and my name is in the Star Wars text. That's all I care about.
Yeah.
I didn't care about getting paid, or I just was like, if you could put me so like my name does this, I would lose my mind. It would be so cool. So that was that.
But then
was,
you're a stormtrooper in the movie as well.
Well, that was a reshoot. So that they shot that at Bad Robot in an office in Bad Robot. They did a reshoot, and Adam Driver was there. I just done This Is Where I Leave You with Adam Driver, and he didn't know I was there, and I was kind of embarrassed to tell him that I was just like an extra in a scene. So I was wearing the stormtrooper outfit, and then in between one of the takes, I took off my thing, and he goes, "Ben?" I was like, "Yeah, hey, what's up, man?" And I couldn't see through the thing. So in one of the takes, I like flat tired him. Do you know what that phrase is?
No.
When you by mistake like hit someone's foot and their like shoe comes off. So like I by mistake like hit his foot, and he like as Kylo Ren had to keep moving. But I just like done a series of like huge scenes with him in a different Sean Levy movie, and then I'm an extra in like this thing just because I was like, and then I gave my outfit to Michael Giacchino, who then took the same exact stormtrooper outfit I was wearing. I either took his or gave him mine. But I remember because I'm close with him too. I was like, we're just in each other's sweaty stormtrooper outfits. It was great. It was a dream come true.
I mean, Michael Giacchino. I mean, like that's a great segue into my next question.
He's the best. You got to interview him, man.
I mean, he's somebody that
now his son just won an Emmy 2 days ago.
Yes,
that family's so talented.
Absolutely incredible. I mean, the opening 20 minutes of Up alone just that music and then that story. And that kind of leads me down a path of like.
Are you going to finally ask one?
I'm going to get to one now
Okay.
because your relationship to the score you're set to in your movies.
Yeah.
Because, so correct me if I'm wrong, Tom Hulkenberg does the Sonic films.
Yeah.
You were scored, technically speaking, by John Williams in The Force Awakens.
It doesn't count, but yes. I did go to a live recording of John doing it for Star Wars.
Did you?
Yeah, and teared up I was in the back and just teared up while he was doing it.
That must have been insane.
And when Michael does stuff every now and then, I get to go, like when he did Jurassic Park and stuff, I would just stand in the back. And
Yeah.
I love music so much. My mom's a music teacher for 50 years.
Yeah.
And I was like, and so I'm so drawn to it. And I find music so beautiful and emotional that like, to see Michael scored by like a huge orchestra, it's the coolest thing in the world.
Yeah.
There's nothing cooler. So
Alan
anyway.
Alan Silvestri scored you in The
The
Walk.
Walk. A hero of mine. Back to
Right.
the Future is my favorite movie of all time.
That's kind of what I'm getting at. Like you think about these legends in the music part of, like score is to me is a leading character in movies. I was wanted to ask you as an actor, that score is placed in generally in post-production.
Almost always.
What is the emotional response you have when you see yourself set to music?
Oh,
Because
great question, Kevin.
you think about like Junkie XL, Tom Hulkenberg, who does Sonic.
Yes.
It's such a great score.
And also, there's specific Sonic things that he like takes pieces of the video game music and pops it in there. It is an incredibly emotional thing. It is when Alan Silvestri was scoring The Walk, and I got to see The Walk. It was like I think we premiered at Tribeca or whatever, and that was the first time I really saw it. And the music is coming through the speakers. It is so emotional. Just like I remember I did a Disney movie once. And the Disney logo came up, and it was like, and I was like, oh my God, I'm in one of these movies. I'm in one of these. Like, it's crazy. So when you hear Alan's music, I think Giacchino did This Is Where I Leave You.
Sean Levy, by the way, big fan.
I love Sean
Big
so
fan
much.
of Sean Levy.
He's the best.
He directed that, right?
He did.
He's so great.
He is amazing.
He's also a really...
And now he's on the biggest streak he's the hottest director in the universe.
doing Star Wars.
He's doing Star Wars. He just did Deadpool, Wolverine.
He's also a great guy.
He's a lovely guy.
Great guy.
I love him. I
Shout out
think
to
he's the
Sean.
best.
Yeah.
Love it. And I auditioned for the Adam Driver's role in that.
Oh.
And then because they weren't sure if he was going to do it or not because he was filming Girls at the same time.
Oh, that's right.
So I did that and tested with Jason Bateman and stuff like that. And then when Driver could do it, they said, "Do you want to play the rabbi?" And I was like, "Yeah, of course, I'll play a rabbi." And Jonathan Tropper, who's also killing it right now.
Yeah,
Tropper's writing. He has his own TV show. He's writing 100 movies. He's unbelievable. There's so much talent, and Sean is so smart. He finds Jonathan, and they make incredible stuff together. Yeah. Anyway, the music is a huge thing, especially because as a kid. I'm a huge Stevie Wonder fan, Sam Cooke, a lot of rap and hip hop because I'm from New York. But I used to listen to soundtracks all the time. I had a Chevy Beretta Plum, a terrible car that broke down, and it's like I would blast soundtracks. Back to the Future, a bunch of John Williams stuff, Star Wars, Phantom Menace had just come out, so like dun, 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 like we were just like it was. I used to love playing soundtracks, so. To me, that was always a big deal. So, and whenever I was in movies that really felt that, it just makes the moment so much bigger than what it is. Especially if you're just acting or if you're doing a voiceover by yourself in a little booth, and then you see it fully scored. It's the most It's one of my favorite pieces of this process by far.
Yeah, it's got to be. I mean, I have to imagine it. There's score is, and it can be used wrong. There's sometimes when a score can be manipulative, and I think a good filmmaker knows how to utilize score and not. I mean, look at No Country for Old Men. There's no score.
Oh yeah,
and it's like that. Anytime, it's something that's such a personal and atmospheric part of the movie.
Butch Cassidy also. Have you seen Butch Cassidy?
Yes,
Butch Cassidy is so patient with music.
Yeah,
and then has some of the most iconic music in the world.
Yeah, it's like when to use it, right? It's also like I think about these filmmakers who are
different now. I feel like all movies are kind of always score. Every moment is almost
everything
scored.
Is. But also you think about like these filmmakers who are taking on franchises. Like for example, like Gareth Edwards who just did Jurassic World Rebirth.
Right.
You have the John Williams music baked into the original.
Yes.
When do you use that cue?
Yeah.
And that's always an interesting thing. You mentioned Parks and Rec briefly. I think one of the things I think it's underrated about television that I don't know if people realize is there's different directors that step in for different episodes.
Yes.
And generally on a film, you have a filmmaker and it's there. Like Paul Thomas Anderson's new movie's coming out, One Battle After Another. That's his voice. He is the
Have you
direct.
seen it?
No, I'm seeing it tonight.
Oh.
but he's the director of that film, so that's his voice.
Yes.
On a show, I guess you could argue that a showrunner is kind of the director overseeing
The
everything,
tone, right?
keeping
in charge of the tone. Yeah.
But as an actor, you have every director who comes in, they're different. They operate differently. They feel differently. But you have to keep your consistent tone as the actor.
Yeah.
How?
And also, you're tracking your emotional arc through the season, and
Right.
they just have to worry about one slice of that season.
Right. So how difficult is that though? Like when you have a different director step into a world that you're already a part of to keep a consistency.
I've never found it to be like too hard, but sometimes you'll together feel like, oh, I don't know if my character would do that exactly here because he did this, blah blah blah. But
because you kind of have authority on the character a little bit in
a little
way.
bit, but also you'll always have a writer on set. So the
Yeah.
writer who wrote the episode is there, or the showrunner is there. So people are always kind of in control. But like with John Ralphio, it was kind of always bananas. So I can always kind of like, there was no emotional arc to follow with John Ralphio. It was more like he's going to be bananas right now, and watch him be bananas. He's going to be a cartoon character now.
Yeah.
Here he goes. But for different, like House of Lies, there's a lot of stuff going on, and you can feel the difference when you're with a director that's you'll remember like, oh my god, this guy was so good.
Yeah.
This man or woman really pushed me to do things like to find my moments in ways that really help the character. This person understands that we know what we're doing. He's going to handle he or she or they are going to handle all the visual stuff. And like, so there's a whole bunch of different types of it. But I will say when we did the after party,
By the
Chris
way, which
Miller,
is a great show.
Oh, I think one of my favorite things I've ever been in.
Did Chris direct a lot of those?
Chris did every
All
single
of them.
episode.
Yeah, that's right.
So because he did every episode, it was, but that was also a whodunit. So like, there's so much stuff to track, and it was
Yeah.
his baby. But it's like him directing every episode made it so fun because we can reference something we already shot. Same with a movie, you can always build or hey, we need to do this or remember this or da da da. But it's pretty. The people who come in and do TV are pretty pro. We usually the shows that I've done usually get pros, so it's like they know what they're doing, they know how to fill in, they know how to do their job, they know how to make their stuff interesting and stuff like that. I don't remember often. Maybe once or twice was there like a director that were like, "Woof, this is hard. You're making this harder than it has to be." So rarely does that happen.
Do you miss characters you play ever after you're done? Like in the sense of like, are there characters that you go, I kind of miss being in that guy's shoes? I think one of the things about acting that I don't really fully understand, because as an actor you get to live the life of somebody you're not.
Yes.
And so you get to go and view the world through their eyes for the amount of time that you're playing in that sandbox.
Yeah.
So like, are there people that you've played that you miss? You go, oh, I kind of miss that guy. What's he doing?
It's funny. I don't miss the characters. I miss the experiences making it.
Okay.
I miss being young and doing John Ralphio around all of us before any of us hit.
Yeah.
I love the idea of all of us being there, and Amy's all of our heroes, or it was my hero at least. And so it's like, I miss that, or I miss exactly like even like This Is Where I Leave You. We were all in that same house for so long. We're all just, it's like me, Catherine Hahn, Jane Fonda, Jason Bateman.
Do you ever hope it just
Adam
goes
Driver.
on for longer?
Parks, I wouldn't have minded that never ending, because
Yeah.
I did it. I was a lead in a TV show. My whole run of Parks, I was always a lead in a different TV show, and each studio would have to talk to each other. Mike Schur would have to call JJ or someone to try to get me out of undercovers for a half a day so I could do that. But I really miss that. Also, when you're younger, I feel like I was so young and way fewer responsibilities, and you know what I mean. And so I miss moments and the way that things were. The way that I felt and what my life was like at that time, more than I miss characters. John Ralphio would be super fun to keep playing, but I'm sure I'd be so tired so quick. I think I'd be really bummed if, I hope Sonic goes on for 100 things, but when that ends, I think there'll be a piece of me that's like, oh, I miss doing that.
Because I would argue you tap into you're a young guy, but you tap into like a youthful.
Yeah, I try to act
him.
like a kid. Yeah, and for Sonic, yeah.
It's got to be like, so like on those days when you're in those recording booths and you go home at the end of the day, like, do you feel like you were a kid for those hours? Like,
a little bit, but also I'm exhausted.
Yeah,
because I've been talking at a high pitch register for 3 hours straight, or 4 hours straight, and I'm like, and my voice is shot and I'm like so tired. But yeah, there's the same with John Ralphio. I just get to be a goof.
Yeah,
how fun to be a goof, or just like the idea of what you're doing is to be comedic. Do you know what I mean? Like, all right, my goal is to try to make you laugh and move story along, but my goal is to try to make you laugh. So it's like, I feel like as I've gotten older, the roles that I play aren't just like comedy roles. It's like, let's do this, and this. So I miss the feeling of being on Parks and being around all those people. I missed Cheadle, Josh Lawson, and Kristen Bell for House of Lies.
Yeah.
Truly miss that. I miss working with directors. I loved working with Sean Levy. I love playing with like Chris Miller. I loved being directed by Chris Miller. Lord and Miller to me are heroes.
Brilliant.
They were on my list of like, who do you want to be directed by? I was like, if I can get directed by Lord and Miller, and then I got to be directed by Chris.
I'm excited about Hail Mary.
Oh my God, it's gonna be amazing.
Dude,
the trailer's amazing.
Greg Fraser shot that, one of the greatest DPs of all time.
It's gonna be incredible.
So
I miss experiences more than I miss characters.
Yeah, I mentioned Sonic. I think another thing that people don't necessarily understand when it comes to voice acting is the efforts.
It's so much.
This is mind blowing to me because I feel like studios should release BTS of efforts. Explain to my audience what efforts are.
Okay, so when we do the movie, oftentimes it's lines, and you do a couple like uhs or whatever. But then when you start to get the final footage, you really got to match it. So if there's a big fight with Sonic, then I'm watching it and I'm like doing like yeah, like you're getting hit, you get thrown to the ground, you get punched, you get now this is the biggest punch you've ever given, stuff like that, and you're doing it over and over, and you're falling down a hill 100 times, yelling at the top of your lungs, jumping off a plane, or so it's like you do these things over and over again where your voice is just shot. My voice is way different now than it was before. I did Randy Cunningham, DuckTales, Turtles, when I was leads in all these and doing high-pitched voices for so long. And Sonic, it's like my voice is, because I never learned how to use my diaphragm as a kid, because I wasn't like, I didn't get to go on stage very often or ever. So it's like, I didn't learn that. So now like I'm like trying to get better at it now, but yeah.
It's fascinating to me because like I know you've said on Colbert you hope they do 10 or 15 of those movies.
I would do them forever. The reaction that I just did, I got to meet so many Sonic fans recently, and it's like the impact that this movie has on people and families is so incredible, and the fact that I get to bring any joy into these people's lives in the way that they're expressing they've felt joy from it has been incredible. It's been incredible. So like to me, I was like, if I can continue doing this and can continue making people happy in that way, or having kids looking up to it, or I send like 1 billion voice notes in a year to kids
as Sonic.
As Sonic. So it's like I literally sent one this morning to somebody you just asked. I saw Spinal Tap 2 yesterday.
How is it?
It's great. Of course it's great.
Love Rob Reiner.
Rob Reiner is a hero.
Is he I actually think Rob Reiner is one of the most underrated directors
if you look
of
at
all time.
Rob Reiner's streak of movies.
Misery, Few Good Men, When Harry Met
Dude,
Sally.
Stand By Me, When Harry Met Princess Bride. That's all in the same group.
Yeah. American President.
It's absurd. And also it's changing genres per each
How
thing.
is he not talked about
Spinal Tap
in greatest director?
He should be. He should be. And that run especially should be considered one of the best runs of anybody of all time. Anyway, Spinal Tap 2 is obviously hilarious.
Can't wait.
Christopher Guest is a hero. McKean is a hero of mine. So it's like, I've never met Christopher Guest, but it's like, anyway, I was there, and literally when I was there, someone goes, I'm so sorry, my nephew's like, do you mind? And I was like, sure. So I like.
Do you ever get asked to say weird things as Sonic?
Not really.
Because
not really.
I would imagine that would be strange.
Yeah, I would probably not let it happen.
Not do it.
There was a time when Sonic 1 came out and it started really hitting, and if Sonic 2 came out then, and like in TikTok sometimes it'll be like kind of somebody's voice, but it's obviously AI, whatever.
Yeah.
They said, would I do for Sonic, let them do that where I do a bunch of words and they can turn it into anything they want. And I was like, I don't want someone else to be able to make Sonic say something. Like, because then what if there's Sonic saying weird stuff?
Yeah.
Like, I like the idea that when I'm leaving these voice notes and it's me, like, I get to control. It's always in character. It's never not him. You know what I mean?
And is it that easy to slip back in? Like, you just, like, you could, is it just
to Sonic?
Yeah. It's that simple.
Literally every day I'm sending a voice note.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
One of my favorite movies I've ever seen is this movie called, have you seen Babylon? Damien Chazelle's Babylon?
Yes, I have seen Babylon.
So I kind of a hard transition, but I want to talk about this because I find this interesting. There's a scene in that film where Brad Pitt, for people who haven't seen the film, Brad Pitt's character is a famous actor in the silent era, and they're going into talkies, and he's like goes into an office meeting with Jean Smart, who's like a journalist at the time, and she wrote a piece about kind of like the end of Brad Pitt's character's career, and he's kind of like grappling with the idea that his career is over.
Yes.
And in that moment, I find that interesting because she says to him, in 100 years, someone's going to turn on one of your films and you're going to flicker back to life. and this idea that being in films immortalizes you in a way.
Yeah.
And I find that to be interesting as an artist like yourself, because you have a great body of work in television, in movies, obviously with your stage work as well, the writing you've done.
Yeah.
It all tells a story. It's all like, this is Ben Schwartz's legacy, that what he's leaving to the arts. And I wonder if you think about that at all, in the sense that when you're gone, not to be dark, but when you're gone, that someone will bring you back to life watching one of your shows or your movies. What does that mean to you?
It's an incredible feeling. It's also like, I feel like there's so much stuff that people do where people just don't care.
Yeah.
There's so much content that I've made, that everybody's made, huge movie stars have made, where it just disappears after the time it comes out and nobody ever watches it again. And it's like, or very rarely watches it. And so the thing that I'm incredibly grateful for is I have a couple things that seem to have been more evergreen than the others. Like Sonic seems to be living on.
Yeah.
DuckTales seems to be living on a little bit.
Every Sonic movie makes more money every time.
It's crazy. And then Parks seems to be like, the people that were loving Parks, now their kids are coming up to me and being like, "Oh my God, dude, your character." So there is something. I used to do this thing anytime I wrote a script for a studio or whatever. I would print it out and I'd put it on my wall, and I could see all the scripts I wrote, because I was like, I did this. I made this. Because like with art, sometimes, especially with improv, you can't look at the thing and be like this. But when you make movies and stuff, like to have the DVD of the movie,
yeah,
to have something being like, "Oh yeah, I made that. I made that. I made that." I love that idea that I'm building this collection of things that I can hopefully be proud of, and that I can be like, look at all the things that I did. How cool that I was able to do this stuff. There is something to that, but also finding the evergreen ones. Like, even if my career was like, the biggest one was Parks, but then the fact that now Sonic has become one of those things as well, I feel very lucky.
You have multiple things that.
But you talk to someone
huge.
like Josh Brolin, and he has, 50.
Yeah.
Like starting with The Goonies. It's
Yeah.
like he has been in so many instrumental films and things.
Yeah.
And so it's like,
and
I feel
read
lucky
his
just to
book?
have one or two. No, I bet I'd love it.
It's because he has a whole chapter in his book about the juxtaposition.
I heard he's
between-
just a good dude.
brilliant guy.
Yeah.
But brilliant, also a brilliant writer. But the Goonies.
I didn't know he wrote.
Yeah, his book is called From Under the Truck.
Oh wow.
It's like a non-linear memoir of certain aspects of his life. I wouldn't even call it a memoir. It's just like different stories and random things. But he has this chapter called 1984 and 2006 where he looks at his career from the perspective of the Goonies and No Country.
Oh, that's great.
Or 2007, yeah, wherever he was, because after Goonies, his career had a certain elevation, and then No Country restarted everything in a really interesting way. But honestly, like you said just now, you have multiple things that have lived on.
Well, nothing like Brolin. We're talking about like an icon.
Dude, you're
like
young.
Brolin.
You're super young in your
feel
career.
very old.
You're super young in your career.
Very old.
But honestly, that's the beauty of this business, is that your work will live on. But
yes, and by the way, that's also one of the reasons why. So I do improv, and the biggest thing about improv is that we're going to show you something on stage that's going to disappear forever.
Yeah.
We're giving you a show just for you, 2,000, 3,000 people, and then nobody else will see this show. And when you try to explain it, somebody make no sense. And I've done thousands of shows like this. And there's just a piece of me. It's like, man, I should record a couple of these.
Well, Middleditch and Schwartz.
Middleditch and Schwartz was a huge deal for us. Those three specials were a huge deal.
And if anybody out there listening has not seen that, it's on Netflix.
Yeah, Thomas Middleditch and I did these. We performed for a long time, then toured for a while, and it took everything to convince anybody to let us do a special. We pitched Netflix. They said no at the beginning. We pitched every single place, and they'd be like, "But what's the show about?" I was like, well, we don't know. It's going to be made up. They go, yeah, but what's what does it kind of be about? I was like, we have no idea. They go, all right, well, can you get a celebrity in there? I was like, the show's just us, and we have no idea what's going to happen, but come to one of our shows and you'll see what we do. And then finally, we sold out Carnegie Hall, and then we got Netflix to come to to a show in L.A.
Wow.
And then they were like, we'll give you blank amount of money, which obviously wasn't a lot, and to do it. And we're like, great. And Thomas and I just put all the money into it, hired 9 cameras, but like, all right, there's very few, if any, long-form improv specials. Let's make this a
statement,
a good place to show you what we can do. And it's not just us. You see this, now you know what all long-form improvisers are capable of. You can go see shows. So then when we toured, and then when Ben Schwartz and Friends is touring, we've toured for a while now, and we performed to over 150,000 people. And it's like now other improvisers who are, equally as amazing, those venues are like, oh, we understand what improv is now a little bit. We can, we know you can sell tickets and da-da-da. And I think it's hopefully that's what people have been telling me. It's been opening the way to allow other people to tour. But yeah, so I was having this feeling that just those 3 Middleton Schwartz shows were filmed, where every now and then I'll bring cameras now. And I have all the audio of every show I've done.
Oh, you do record
for the past 3 tours. I don't know what I'm going to do with it, but I have 70 shows from these tours.
Documentary special on it.
Maybe. I have all these ideas what to do, but it's like I started filming stuff. I have one of my friends, Jill, comes and films stuff. So I have, even if it's 1 or 2 cameras, I'm putting stuff on social, but also then I have an example of this. So it's not gone forever. Which I was like, I just feel bad that so many of our, almost 95% of everything I've done on improv is gone. It's
but ironically, it is, like, I almost feel like I like the fact that I got to be in that room.
It makes it special.
But then I also understand what you're saying, because there's so many people out there who could maybe benefit from seeing
or
this.
just like for me,
yeah,
like
so you can see it back, kind of.
Yeah,
thing
or
too.
like if like there are kids out there, they're like, oh, did you do shows? All I've seen is those. I was like, oh yeah, I could show you, like, we did this also, or like this is what this was, or if people are interested in the format or something like that, or just like it also just reminds me a little bit of this part of my life being like, all right, I toured for blank amount of years and got very lucky and was able to play Royal Albert Hall and Sydney Opera House and sell out Radio City, and it's like, and there's really no evidence of any of it. I was like, but if I have the audio of it or something, I can like, I just didn't want it to disappear. I love the idea that you're getting your own show and it's disappearing forever. I love that.
Yeah.
There's a piece of me that's like, I want to collect a little bit of this. I love collecting things.
Same.
Like I collect animated cells. I collect, so it's like, I was like, just so I have them, just so like it's not, I know that it happened or something like that. You know what I mean? Because I don't know how long I'll tour for.
Yeah, but I mean, it's cool. I mean, I will say, if you get a chance, check out, go to Ben's socials, go to his website.
Yeah, Reject the
Find
Jokes.
out all the links for his. I want to, before we end, I do want to.
Wait, how much time do we have? Because it's.
I don't even know.
Can we go and then you guys tell us when we're not allowed to?
Yeah, can we go a little longer?
Yep.
What time do we really have to be out of here?
You can go till 4:30.
Yes,
my man.
Hell yeah!
Thank you guys. It's very kind
Thank
of you.
Thank you guys.
Is this interesting to you guys?
Yeah, I'm actually having a great time.
All right, cool. Yeah, as long as it's,
that's the only reason why we got 30
I'm like,
more
is it
minutes.
okay? Is it okay? I want to bring up your writing. And correct me if I'm wrong. So I was doing a lot of research this morning.
And I will get real about all of this.
Yeah, I want to talk about this. So Weekend Update, you worked on for
I was a freelance writer, so I had to buy a fax machine and fax in jokes. Weekend Update.
You're joking.
Yep. Same with Letterman.
Who was hosting Weekend Update at the time?
Amy Poehler and Tina Fey.
And this is before you worked with Amy on Parks.
Before, because she was also the head of Upright Citizens Brigade. It was 4 people, so she was one of the 4 founders.
So you were faxing in jokes.
Faxing in jokes. Faxing in jokes to Letterman. I think I was either emailing or faxing in jokes to.
Like writing them on paper and then faxing them, or typing
type them, print them out, then put them through a fax machine.
Do you remember the first time a Letterman joke made it on Letterman?
Yes, it was a few times though, where a very similar joke got on, and then the guy's like, "That wasn't yours," because we're all writing this. We're going off the same stories.
Sure.
And I was like, ugh. And then one time it was me, and it was a huge deal. I don't remember the one for that. I do remember.
Is this a monologue joke?
Yeah, they're all monologue jokes.
Wow.
And then for Weekend Update, it was one that is not did not stand the test of time.
Yeah.
And the other one was very Horatio Sands. I think Tina was having a baby. And Horatio Sands, Tina, who I worked with on This Is Where I Leave You, which is amazing. I got to, and who's amazing. I loved her. She's amazing. But so Amy and Horatio was hosting. Horatio accepted 2 of my jokes in one episode, because I remember where I was. I was with my family on vacation somewhere, and I was watching Weekend Update, and I just watch every week anyway, and I never got a joke on, and I was doing it for months. And then Horatio subbed in, and I don't think he knows who's handing who's. Maybe he does. I don't know. But he said 2 of my jokes in the same episode. And so he said one of my jokes, and I couldn't believe that I got a joke on SNL, because that's like the holy grail for me.
Yeah.
And I jumped up and down on the hotel bed, and I hit the TV remote, and the power went out.
Oh.
And so I'm missing the rest of Weekend Update. And then I press the power button, and it goes to like the hotel lobby screen. And so then I had to find the and I'm like I'm going crazy. And then I finally find it, and then I hear the tail end of another one of my jokes. And I was like, oh my God, I think I got 2 jokes on this episode.
So that's interesting. The crafting of a joke. So it's usually set up with a couple sentences that like tell the truth.
So Weekend Update was way different than Letterman.
Letterman, right?
Letterman, it's like you have one sentence to set it up, and you gotta like.
And then the punchline.
Yes, with Weekend Update, you can spend a couple more sentences setting up what's going on.
So
and
like,
then hit.
so you knew like when you sent that joke into Saturday Night Live,
Yeah.
you knew that you had 2 or 3 sentences to set up something.
Every time I sent in something, I would send 15 jokes a day to Letterman. Every day, I was write 10 to 15 jokes every single day.
And you're hired like a freelancer to do that.
No, you only get paid if you get a joke on.
Oh wow!
So for Letterman, I got 20 jokes on. I got paid. I think I can talk about it now. I got paid $75 a joke. So I would have to hit a certain amount of jokes a month to pay for the phone bill for the fax machine and to pay off the fax machine. So I bought the fax machine, had to get a phone line, right? And then I had to get enough jokes on that month to pay those bills because I didn't have any money. I'm like, I'm trying my best.
How old are you at this point?
I was always young for my grade. So I moved to Manhattan in 2003, the end of 2003. So somewhere between 21 to 24, I was doing it.
Was it surreal hearing the words come out of David Letterman's mouth?
It was the coolest feeling in my life.
Do you remember any of the jokes that got on for Letterman? If you don't, it's okay.
I have a book. So I have a book of all my jokes.
Wow.
Every joke. The only person. So I would fax it to Letterman, then I would take the same thing and I'll fax it to my dad. So because I didn't want them to be wasted. So every day my dad would get a fax and it would be all my jokes. And I was like, someone's gonna laugh.
You're right.
And I would always put like very bad jokes at the end.
Sure.
Just to make the Letterman people laugh.
Yeah.
I was like, if I put a really crazy or really really messed up joke at the end, then maybe they'll start looking at my name when I'm faxing in, and they'll like remember me or something. I
want to see what he has to say this time.
At the end, let's see what the end one is. And then I used to then reject the jokes. My website and my social handles was that all these jokes are rejected. So I started my whole career by taking the rejected jokes, going on YouTube, and performing them to nobody. And they would fail. And that's like my first YouTube thing.
Right.
And then I made a video to have people come to rejected jokes, and that went viral. It's called Cheating. It was a guy who was cheating, cheating on someone who had a husband, and the husband comes home. I don't know if you remember these commercials from Burger King, but there's like a guy in a Burger King mask.
Yeah.
Everybody loved him.
Yeah.
So the guy was found in the closet, and he put the Burger King mask on, and all of a sudden the guy's like, and then they all ate her. I did that.
It's okay.
Yeah, exactly. There was another one I did where the Coors Light, this one I got a cease and desist letter for, and I had to take off because Coors Light sent me a cease and desist letter.
Whoa.
It was, I took the commercial of, the bullet train where someone pops open a Coors Light, and the bullet train goes,
yeah,
and it goes, people all over the world, everybody join hands. Everybody, all of a sudden it's a block party. So I got the guy from the commercial, because I did a commercial with him. I got him, I put him in front of a green screen before green screens were big. Bill Buckendorf, who's a great director and editor and cinematographer, he helped me with it. And I had him come out just like he did in the commercial. He pops the thing, and then I had the train hit him. Because how is the train avoiding everybody?
Right.
That's impossible. So the train comes, it hits him, and the whole commercial goes, no! And then everybody, and I cut to everybody dancing from the actual commercial. And he goes, and it's my birthday today! And it immediately went viral. They saw it, and they cease and desisted. And they go, you have to take this down.
But it already made it out.
But barely. People didn't see that. It started to really hit.
Where is it now? Is it anywhere?
No, it's like on a little. I can send it to you.
Please text
But
it
I
to
got
me.
afraid. I had no money, and a huge corporation was like,
I'm sure.
if you don't take this down, we're going to sue you. I was like,
Right.
sue me for what? My fax machine?
Right.
What are you going to sue me for? But my dad was like, don't. Why would you mess? He goes, you'll think of a better idea. And I was like, all right. My dad was like, why would you mess with this huge corporation that's threatening you? And I was like, yeah, I guess. So we took it down.
What is that? Was that phrase like just ask for forgiveness later? Like
I always ask for permission. I'm terrified.
Yeah, I'm the same way.
You and I are very similar in that. I don't want to offend anybody.
I know, same. Real quick on Letterman. So the jokes were faxed in, but do you remember where you were when you first?
So I was a page at Letterman, so I would watch him every day do the jokes. So
you were in the studio.
I got paid $10 an hour or something like
Right.
that to be a page, an audience page, to let people into the audience.
And by the way, now you're on these talk shows as a guest.
Well, that's why talk shows mean so much to me.
Yeah.
I always wear a suit.
Yeah.
Me and Allison Janney were tied for the most appearances on Late Late Show with Corden.
Crazy.
I've done Letterman, Leno. I've done every single one.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's one I'm missing. No, I think I've done every single one. So
Craig, was it Craig?
I did Ferguson 7 times, 8 times.
Wow.
So I loved it. And then for Corden, I was the guy that if someone dropped, they'd be like, hey, do you mind coming in today? I'd be like, yeah, this is, you don't understand, this late show, whatever. So when I go back to Ed Sullivan and I go on Colbert's show, not only is it so fun to be in front of Colbert, who I think is one of the best people in the world.
I hope I'm sure he'll land somewhere fine.
He'll be in the studio tomorrow.
Netflix is going to probably do something with him.
He's too incredible.
Yeah.
He's too smart and incredible and inspiring. And
I still can't believe he got Christopher Nolan to do a bit for Oppenheimer.
I haven't even seen it. No.
YouTube it when you get home. He had Christopher Nolan and him were at the. Obviously, you've seen the film. We talked about it. But Killian at the end, he's sitting at the water.
Yes.
He does him and Nolan do.
I did see it. I did see it.
And they're running around. I'm like, how did anybody get Christopher Nolan to do like that? In terms of the writing, so one of the things I rewatched this morning
for my scripts.
Yeah, well, scripts in general, but just your writing in general, jokes, everything. I rewatched the Hugh Jackman Oscars.
Oh, great!
This morning,
yes,
the opening from 2009.
That was Dan Harmon, Rob Schraub, and I.
Okay, that is arguably one of the greatest Oscar openings.
It is
of all
unbelievable.
Time. I want to ask how that came about and like the writing process for people who haven't seen it. The beauty of it is Jackman comes out and he talks about how he has no budget.
We were in a recession at the time.
Yeah.
And so the way that it started was I had just moved to LA literally that week, and I was having general meetings with everybody.
Wow.
I had already written for Robot Chicken. I had a lot of stuff online that was doing well, and I was doing a lot of live shows that people were starting to care about a little bit. And I had a general meeting to maybe write a comedy for Hugh Jackman, which, I've had a meeting with every company.
Write a comedy movie.
Yeah, but also it's like everybody says that, but not, very rarely. But the person's also like, hey, we saw that you did jokes and stuff for Letterman and stuff like that. We read them. We really like them. Do you think you'd be interested in writing for Jackman? He's hosting the Oscars. And I was like, oh, my God, yeah. And I think I might have pitched kind of what I wanted to do. And then I don't know who else was hired. And I said, you know what we should do? Like, for this musical number, we should do it like it's a recession. Like he doesn't have the money. Turns out Dan Harmon and Rob Schraub pitched the same exact thing.
Unknowingly.
Nope. We had no idea. And then we all met up in New York and we wrote this musical number.
Dan
really took the reins on that. Schraub is a genius and also a visual genius. But there's a piece of it where someone goes, hey, we really want to find a way to pull Anne Hathaway on stage. And I said,
he goes to pick her up.
Yeah. And he goes, or interact. He goes, interact with Hathaway somehow. Yeah. And I said, okay, well, I do this show with Hot Sauce where someone in the audience, we interact with someone in the audience. So maybe we can have something like that where it starts as almost like that. And then somehow we get her on stage for a song. So I wrote that whole bit. Then I wrote the song of Frost Nixon with her and Jackman.
Which is my favorite part of the whole thing.
It's not. You're very kind.
I know,
the
I'm
best part
is
the end when he comes up and says the rest
the Wolverine line.
It's the best thing.
I agree, but that Frost Nixon joke comes back around at the end too.
Yeah.
I love that moment because also Frost Nixon. I mean, the beauty of it is such a serious movie, and then I actually think that moment's fantastic.
You're very kind. I pitched on all of them. I pitched a billion things.
The Wolverine line.
Oh, you're gonna love this, and I'll let you listen to this afterwards. Okay, so I also had some videos that were doing well online, and then I think Dan was a Channel 101, so he's obviously incredible at all that stuff. Same with Rob, and we're halfway through writing, and it's going really well, and then they go, we want maybe a video to promote this thing. And what had just come out was Christian Bale yelling at the DP of
Terminator.
A Terminator, okay.
Yeah, that was the audio of him.
And it went viral.
Yeah.
Hugely viral.
Yeah, Terminator Salvation.
It was crazy. Yeah. So I pitched, what if Hugh Jackman goes off on us, but in the kindest way possible? So the
so nice.
Kindest way possible. So I think I've told the story only one other time. So we write this thing. We think of the idea. We write. I forget who wrote it. I'm sure one of them wrote it with me. And then on my fucking tiny little nothing phone, we record. We pretend like the video is just like I laid my phone down. It's just happening.
Yeah.
So you hear the audio, and it's like he'll be like, "Who wants coffee? Who the fuck wants coffee?" Like, "I'll have coffee." "Of course you do, because you're a great guy." And you know what I mean? Like, "Get on my back. You want a piggyback ride?" "Yeah, sure. I guess, Mr. Jackman." And so it's that, and it was great. And Jackman committed 1,000%.
Yeah,
Hugh Jackman is the best.
He's one of the nicest guys. Him and Sean Levy.
He came to one of my improv shows. He's just the best guy in the world.
The greatest.
So we did it. It came out really funny, and it matched the energy of Christian Bale. And then he goes, "You know what? I don't want to offend anybody. I'm going to just make sure with Christian's team that this is something that's okay.
Oh, because they made The Prestige together.
Oh,
Wait,
maybe.
Was that before or after
I don't know.
2009?
That's definitely a Kevin McCarthy question.
That's
not a him.
after 2009. Yeah, Nolan.
Yeah.
Prestige. I think it's anyways. Continue.
So,
Actually, no, I
Dan
think it is
Harmon,
before that.
Rob Schraub are sitting while Hugh Jackman, while Wolverine is calling Batman in front of us, and we are losing our minds. We're like, oh my god, Wolverine is talking to Batman right now, and
It was before. Prestige was before, so that's how they
that
knew
must
each
be
other.
why. That must be why.
Okay.
So they were talking, and even that moment, and then something happened where someone thought it wasn't a good idea. Why would we? Whatever. And so it never released, and it's just on my computer.
You got to show this to me.
It's on my computer.
That's very funny.
Yeah.
That's.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly. So.
I wonder how it holds up. Because
But he's still considered like one of the nicest guys in
dude,
Hollywood.
he's so talented.
It's
By the way, the reason why that musical number is so good is because he's so.
And he commits.
Good.
But because
1,000%.
Because he does it for real.
Oh, I
It's not a
I
joke.
sang the other part of the Anne Hathaway part with him, and he's giving it 100%. Like while we're working out what it's going to sound like and the melody and stuff like that.
Right, because she's kind of like at the beginning, she's not singing yet. She's like, I
No,
don't know
that's
what's
all
going
me
on.
doing.
Yeah.
My old team Hot Sauce had this bit where like they would heckle me from the crowd and stuff
Yeah.
like that. I was like, well, we do this thing where maybe this is how we, instead of just pulling her up, let's do it like where we're interacting.
Like she's like confused.
Yeah. And I think they rewrote it a little bit. I when they started to do the music stuff and the finalizing stuff, I don't know if I was filming or what was happening, but Dan and Rob were at the Dolby while that was happening. I wasn't there for that. So I was like, the very final touches and all that stuff, that was the music person and Dan and Rob.
Where were you when the show happened?
Backstage. We're all backstage.
So you were there.
And also, I wrote all these jokes for him to tell.
Right.
But the writing team at the time, I think, wasn't. They had I think they had different jokes they wanted to use. So none of my jokes got on, but we were the team that wrote that musical number. That was our job then. After we found out that they were going to write their own jokes. But I wrote so many jokes for the Oscars. I mean, I can't imagine, because I was a machine at that time because I was writing for Letterman and stuff.
Yeah.
So I was like so good at just thinking of a lot of jokes on the spot. And so, but they didn't use any of my jokes, but we were the team that did that whole musical number. And it was very much led by Harmon, who was a genius.
But as that is going live and the crowd is obviously laughing.
We're backstage.
Yeah. What's your like?
So nervous. I'm so nervous. I don't know what those guys
Do you not think it's going to land?
I have pictures of us backstage. We have a tiny little, we're watching off the tiniest little TV. We're not even where the other writers are. So we were there with a little bit during the show. It was just us with a tiny TV, and we're watching him react, and we're seeing him do the performance. And we're like, oh my God, it's going so well. And the audience is going crazy, and we're going crazy. And then it gets a standing ovation at the end. A standing ovation. And I remember it cut to an actor, I don't remember who, and they weren't standing up. I'm like, get the fuck up. What are you doing sitting down? We're yelling at the screen. We're laughing, and we're hugging each other. It was so exciting.
Yeah.
It was such an exciting moment.
Who
and
wrote the
it was
Wolverine line?
I mean, Harmon wrote a lot of that.
It's such a great.
And the whole thing with I'm Wolverine is just...
It's incredible.
Incredible.
And for anybody out there who doesn't know what we're talking about, please seek this video out. The Academy has it on there.
It's 2009. Yeah, they released the whole thing.
When was the last time you watched that? You got to be proud of that. You have to be proud of that.
There's a couple things I've written so many things. I've sold a lot of movies and a lot of TV shows, and they've never gone on air. And it becomes so frustrating that when you have something that you know is going to go on air, or even, by the way, me doing like punch-ups for 9 just for C-3PO, if it's like a couple jokes that I can watch a movie and be like, oh, I wrote that joke.
Yeah.
It's like that. I could see it. I could see my writing. It gets so frustrating when you spend years of your life writing these huge scripts for huge companies and they never make them. So nobody ever gets to see your writing, even though you've been writing consistently for 20 years.
What C-3PO joke are you proud of?
There's a couple in 9, but one, I think the one in 7 that I got through that I really liked was, it's when Han and Leia see each other for the first time.
Yeah.
And then they're looking at each other and they say something, and then C-3PO comes into frame. And you remember he had a red arm for a little bit of that movie. Yeah. So it was like I was trying to figure out a joke for that moment because it's such a fun moment, but it needed a pop. And I remember it was like it's like, oh, Leia, like I forget the line that set it up where it's like, oh, it's good to see you or whatever. And something along the lines of, it's like, oh, I'm here too. You probably don't recognize me because of the arm. Like, I'm here too. You probably don't recognize me because of the arm. I got to figure out the exact thing.
It's a great line because obviously the character's so recognizable.
Yeah, exactly. So that one was really fun, and there's a couple ones in 9 that worked out really well.
Punch Up. scripts.
Yeah, I've done that a lot.
This is an interesting thing. I remember the first time I had ever heard about this, and I hope I have this right, was Crimson Tide. Tarantino did a punch-up for some of the lines in that film. And the only reason I knew this was because I was so obsessed with Quentin Tarantino growing up as a kid. I wanted to watch everything he was credited for. And I don't think he got an official credit on it, but I remember it saying like part or script or whatever. I learned what a punch-up was.
Yes.
And I could have that wrong, but I'm pretty sure I remember that right. Talk about what that process is like. So
Sure.
a screenwriter or a filmmaker reaches out to you and they say, hey, we need some help with getting these jokes written better, or like what's that process like?
There's a couple different things. One is called a round table punch up, where it's like you get a bunch of different writers,
people, yeah.
and sometimes they're great writers.
Okay.
Sometimes they're like, whoa, and sometimes they're just writers that may not be as famous but are killers. Awesome people. There's two different ways of doing it. One time is the whole cast will do a table read, and then the cast leaves, and then we'll pitch ideas or jokes or things that can make the script better. Or, I don't understand this. Maybe we can make this better. This moment's better. This. What about a joke here? What about this? This doesn't, like, we all kind of work together to kind of help the writers get where they need to go. Then there's a punch-up thing where you literally get the script. All of us go into a room, and we go through the script line by line, and we all pitch jokes.
Yeah.
And if you pitch a joke, especially for me because I'm an improviser, you pitch a joke that I like, I'm like, oh my God. And then I'm like trying to yes and anything you say.
Okay.
So like, oh, what about this? And then the whole idea is to just think of the funniest shit you can think of. So one is like, and then there's notes where like sometimes I'll go in to a movie and someone wants me to watch it and just give them my thoughts and what makes sense, what doesn't make sense. I've done a few times where I write ADR for people where it's like the movie's done and locked. There's no more shoots. But maybe I can add a line on someone's back of their head. Or C-3PO's mouth never moves. So I can write whatever I want for him at any time. Or other movies where it's like, so I've done that a few times too. But I've done every aspect of those.
Yeah. But is like the red arm joke, for example, is there another joke already in place there?
Yes.
So like something
There's something
was
there,
written.
or a temp joke there, or something that someone's like, we need a laugh. This could be a good idea. JJ's really good at that, being like, oh, maybe there's a moment of comedy here.
Yeah.
Da, da, da. And he's also great at writing them. He doesn't need me. You know
Did
what I mean?
he write Force Awakens?
I don't
I'm trying to
know.
remember
I
now.
wouldn't doubt it.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember now.
I'm sure he co-wrote with other people.
I still find
Stefan Grub, also editor, he was the editor that I was next to when we did. There's so many moments in 9 that like we were cracking each other up. But what I did for 7 is I would do C-3PO's voice, and we would put it into the cut. So JJ would see me doing C-3PO joke, delivering the line, and if he liked it and he liked that joke, then he would get
Anthony.
correct, Sir
Anthony.
Yes.
Wait, so there,
and I have those on my phone too.
there's footage of you.
Well, just audio, but I have all the audio of my pitches there.
Have you ever seen a cut where C-3PO is speaking with your voice?
No. I mean, yes, on the day when they put it in the day.
Sick.
That's Stefan. Who's
That is
amazing.
so
Stefan
sick.
Grub, who also, by the way, love talking about. This is a guy you would love. He's edited so many great things, but one of the things that really blasted him is he did the trailer for 7. The first trailer
One of
for
the
7.
greatest trailers of all time.
He was responsible for either part of it or most of
Yeah.
it or all of it. I could call him and find out, but
Yeah.
that's like when people saw that, like, whoa.
Yeah.
I believe that was him. But he was like the guy next to me, and we would make each other laugh, me trying to pitch jokes and stuff like that for C-3PO.
Let's bring up real quick because I know we got to go. But trailers are some of my favorite things to watch.
When
So-
Joe Blow was a kid going to
Dude.
or trailers, one of my favorite things
It's
in
the
the
best.
universe. Yeah.
So my argument, I say this all the time, is I miss the days. Like I love Christopher Nolan because he doesn't put his trailers online really anymore. He makes you go. Like I had to go see Jurassic World Rebirth just to see a teaser for The Odyssey.
Oh yeah.
And so it
And didn't he put? Remember when he put like the first blank minutes of Dark Knight?
like an epilogue, or is epilogue the right word? Prologue.
yeah.
He
But
would-
in what movie? I remember I went to
Dark
see.
Knight Rises. He did it with Dark Knight. He
Yeah,
did
but
it-
what movie did we have to see? I remember I went to a film to see the first blank minutes of
Oh,
Batman.
Yeah. What was that?
I was such a nerd for that. I
Yeah.
thought it was amazing.
It was incredible.
He's amazing.
But I guess the point.
I got to
is-
get him in a comedy.
Oh yeah, honestly, he'd be great. We watched the Colbert bit, but I miss the days of going to the movies when you didn't know what was coming out.
Oh, it's the best.
Right?
I miss so many things about old
Yeah.
school movie going.
But the trailers, like, so tomorrow night, I'm taking my wife and her in-laws to go see a 35 millimeter print of Face Off.
Oh my
So-
God! You know I worked with Cage.
So on Renfield, and so we're going to the new Bev because Quentin Tarantino
Yeah.
only shows movies on film.
On actual film.
But do you remember the teaser for Face Off?
No.
It started on. It's the trailer, but starts on John Travolta's face, and he's speaking, and the camera starts to spin around. And as it gets to the other side and comes back around, the voice is still the same, but it's now Nicolas Cage's face.
Great.
And it was like one of the greatest teasers. I remember seeing that and going, that is fucking awesome. Like I want to see that right away. Do you remember
I love trailers.
do you have favorite trailers?
Oh man, I would have to go back and think, but I would have to really think about it. But I was obsessed.
Remember the
with
Spider-Man one? For the
with
first
Tobey
Spider-Man?
Maguire?
But do you remember? So not. This is. I don't want to
I
go.
remember the original Batman one, right? Wasn't Keaton's Batman one mostly the emblem at the beginning?
Yes, it was just like I think it was like the logo
And the music, and maybe,
Yeah.
and then maybe Tim Burton's,
Yes.
or maybe Danny Elfman's music, maybe.
The Spider-Man one was they catch the helicopter between the two towers.
Oh yeah, great.
And it was like, and I just remember like that trailer coming out, and it was like one of the best teasers.
One of my favorite parts about movie going when I was a kid was seeing the trailers.
Yeah.
And also couldn't wait to see what other movies were coming out.
Right.
That's how you would find out.
Or you'd walk out and see a poster. I remember walking out of a movie theater in Newport News, Virginia. I saw a Lost World poster. I'm like, they made a sequel to Jurassic Park? But this was before you knew any movie news. You didn't know who was filming what. Like,
So when do you remember the original Batman Tim Burton poster was just the
Just the
emblem
logo.
and the gold one, right?
Yeah.
So when I came out of a theater and I saw it, and all I saw, you know, like how sometimes people look at a painting, you don't see the sailboat or
Yeah.
whatever. All I saw was gold teeth. All I saw was the gold part, and I didn't see that. I didn't think the black part was what they were highlighting. So all I saw was gold teeth. Like
Yeah.
the gold around the black, and I was like, "What the fuck movie is this?" And my dad's like, "It's Batman." I go, "What Batman?
Yeah.
The Batman comics I've read, he doesn't have gold teeth."
Yeah.
And he's like, "No, you're looking at the wrong part of the." And it was so crazy to me. All I saw was gold teeth.
do you have a favorite trailer for one of your movies? Remember seeing the Sonic trailer?
The
for
most
first time?
famous trailer would be the first version of the first Sonic trailer, which
Which is this
the
is a
old
famous
design,
story. Yeah.
which is the old design. That's the one that probably has gotten the most. But any movie I've ever done, when I see a trailer for it, I can't believe I'm in it. Same with when I go to an actual movie theater and I get to see myself on an actual movie screen.
Yeah.
It's still bananas to me.
Yeah.
It's crazy to me. So when I see like my voice talking to Jim Carrey in a movie,
Insane.
I get emotional because he was
Jim
my
Carrey's
hero.
so good in like I honestly think it harkens back to like those classic Jim Carrey roles.
He's just so talented.
Yeah, some of my favorite. I mean, I've been lucky enough to sit down with people that I grew up watching. He is somebody that I have always had such great technical conversations with because he's such a technical guy.
He's amazing.
He's so focused, laser focused on the technical nature. He was telling me for the first Sonic, sometimes he'll have cue cards that hang down from
That
ceilings.
he wrote.
That,
They're not cue cards. They're alt lines that he wrote.
and he'll look and catch it and say it.
He's meticulous in it. Sometime I remember asking him, I forget about Ace Ventura or The Mask or Dumb and Dumber maybe, which is top 5 movie of all time.
Ever.
Wait, we only have 1 minute left.
I saw that on 35.
But I would like talk to him and I was like, this has to be improvised. He's like, no, it's meticulously thought of.
Yeah.
Okay, 2 minutes. I'm gonna end this thing for you. Okay, ready? 2 minutes. One is if Letterboxd came to you and you had to do your top 4, what would your top 4?
I did it already.
Oh, what was it?
I did my Letterboxd. We filmed it.
Oh wait, don't waste it then. We only have a minute.
No,
I don't
I'll
wanna
tell
waste
you.
this guy's time. All right, go.
Because I want to hear yours. Have you done it before?
No, I'm not gonna tell you mine.
Oh no, you're doing yours. If I'm doing mine, you gotta do yours. Come on.
All right, go.
All right. Mine were Face Off.
I wanted to get one genuine thing before we end. Go.
All right. Face Off. Interstellar. Wait. Face Off. Interstellar. Wait, what did I put on my 4 list? Face Off. Oh, Face Off. Interstellar. Terminator 2.
Oh,
And this is gonna haunt me now that I can't remember the 4. Face Off, Interstellar, True Romance.
oh, great. There's Tarantino.
Those are my 4.
Tarantino wrote that, right?
Tarantino wrote it. Tony Scott directed.
Yes.
All right, Ben Schwartz. You're
But
on
this
the
is why I
spot.
respect this, because you are a cinephile. You've seen everything.
Yeah.
And you're picking like big, beautiful
Yeah.
movies. Okay, so for me, Back to the Future is number 1.
Which one?
Oh, the first one.
Okay.
Shawshank, I think, is probably up there.
Yeah, Darabont.
Dumb and Dumber, I think, is up there. And I wanted to represent animation, so I would say either probably Aladdin, I would say, just because I want an animated film to be up there. All right, ready? 1 minute. This is a sincere question for you about this.
Go.
You have started this. These are the 2 things I want to know. Who is your white whale for this?
Yeah.
Okay, I want to know for this exact format so we can establish it now at the beginning
Yeah.
of this, that one day we can hopefully get it.
Yeah.
And 2, what do you want people to get from this? You're doing this because what do you want people to get from this?
I'll answer the second question
And
first.
can I do this once a year?
Yeah, 100%.
Okay, go.
Once a month if you want.
No. Go.
To answer your second question first, the whole point of this show is I want people to understand the craft of filmmaking. I grew up watching a lot of James Lipton and Inside the Actors Studio, but just like I want people to understand the art and how much effort goes into it. So when I speak to you as a writer, as an actor, you know, I want to understand how your brain operates and how you are able to get a joke across, how you're able to do an effort in a studio.
I feel like you just started talking about writing. I never talk about my writing with people. We could have an hour on
At least
that process.
I wanted to go longer.
Oh,
with
yeah,
the writing.
keep going.
But to be honest with you, like I want, if somebody listens to this show, let's say I have a director on, and that director speaks about a certain shot in the film, and that, like, one of my favorite stories ever. You ever read Sidney Lumet's Making Movies?
No. Is it great?
Greatest book I've ever read in my life.
Oh, wow.
Because in the book, you've seen 12 Angry Men.
I haven't.
Okay, it's a masterpiece.
I know it is.
But you know the characters are deliberating. Yes. Yeah. So in the film, this is all subconscious. But as the movie started, he kept the camera above eye level with wide-angle lenses, so the room felt open.
Oh, wow.
And then as the film goes on and the deliberations get more and more intense, he lowers the camera to below eye level at the end, and then he's shooting on different lenses. I think it was telephoto at the end, so you felt claustrophobic and you couldn't breathe.
Oh, wow.
But it's so subconscious.
You want to talk about that?
I want those aspects to be told to audiences so that when they see a film or they see an actor, they understand where that person was coming from in that moment. What was the decision-making process? But also, I also just want to nerd out because I think a lot of people who do the work that you do are genuinely passionate about the industry.
And we don't get questions beyond the most obvious ones.
Right. Yeah. And so I want you to express why you're so good at what you do.
The things that we nerd out about.
But also why you're so good at what you do. I mean, if people, like, the idea of you faxing jokes, like, and then sitting here now after the career that you've had, what an amazing
It's very surreal.
arc. But you deserve it because you earned it and you also love it.
But
and
I think you and I work very hard.
But you give a shit.
I very much care.
And
I also want to make people happy so desperately. I want to bring joy to people so desperately.
Right.
All right, who's your white whale? You have a top 3 on this show, on film
3.
with Kevin McCarthy.
Yeah.
You get 3, and these are the things we're putting out into the universe.
Yeah.
That in the next 2 years, we're going to get these 3 people.
Christopher Nolan.
Okay, that'd be huge for an hour long. I don't think I've ever seen him do an hour long.
I don't know that I would be able to make it through.
Okay, that's one.
James Cameron.
Oh my God, yeah, great.
And Steven Spielberg. Actually, wait a second. Okay, this is going to sound, please do not take this as like name dropping. I've been lucky enough to interview Spielberg probably 7 or 8 times.
That's amazing.
Over the years. So I've collectively have had maybe 40 minutes or so with him. So I would put John Williams instead of Spielberg.
Oh.
Only just because I've never spoken to him before. And to be honest, the main person I've been trying to get all year, which hasn't been successful, is PTA.
Oh, I mean, dream.
So thank you very much for making this happen. Thank you. I want to shout out Lab 818. Is it Lab 818 or 818? 818. All right. I want to shout out Lab 818 for
By the way,
helping.
who let us go over and we're awesome.
I had 1 hour booked, and my buddy Oscar let me go longer. So thank you. Book your podcast space here. He's not paying me to say that.
And now he's going to cut it so he doesn't have to give other people more time.
Yeah. Thanks, Ben.
Dude, you're the best. I'm cheering you on, and I'm here whenever you need me.
You're the greatest.
All right, brother.
Thank you, brother.
Best of luck.
All right.